Whoops. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, crazy day for me in my world, my personal world. It's been things have been rather exciting, you could say, to say the least. But I hope you are all having a fantastic day, and that life is being good to you. I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every day to this channel. It means a lot to me, sincerely. With all that being said, Zendikar Rising spoilers, baby. We got plenty to talk about. Landfall is looking just busted, along with some other really cool key cards and the triggers, man. Let's get into it. This is my second take now, because the very first one I made a big oops. I muted my mic while in edits and working on some other kind of content for this channel. I got a really funny video, but I don't know if I'm gonna even put it on here. It might just be at the end screen. It's 30 seconds, but in all, it's gonna have taken 7 hours to do all the work to it. You guys are gonna laugh your butt off when you see it. All right, Agadim the Undercrypt and Agadim's Awakening. Sweet art on this. I do like it. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cowabunga reincarnated. Sweet, coming back from the dead in the sewer. I mean, you see the sewer there. I see it. All right, so what do we got going on here? Sorcery, okay, and black, 3 black mana and X. Return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost. X or less. So different converted mana cost. So it can be 5, 4, 3, bring them back. And it's any number of that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you kind of want to mix things up if you're going to do this, because it cannot be the same. Okay? Return your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost. Difference, the key word on this card. If it said all the same, that'd be cool, or, X and less, that'd be cool, but it does not say that, my friends. So you have to pay a decent amount here for this, but in a sacrifice build, perhaps, maybe. I just want to say one thing, guys. Cards like this, these lands in the Mythic, are just nuts. Now, I mean, there's a lot of similar cards, like all 5 of these Mythic lands now, flip lands you call them, or choice lands, whatever they're called. They're going to see a lot of play. I'm telling you that right now. Just the option that if you need a land, at that time, situation lands, maybe, who knows what they're going to call them. Or if you, need to use the spell side, or the creature, whatever the case may be for these. These are a powerhouse, and these are probably going to fetch pretty pennies down the road, especially. I'm really curious to see price points on these. I will be doing a price video. That is 100%. Yeah, right, like within a week of the last spoiler video, and then about a month after release, so we can get a good idea where these prices are at. But yeah, paying 3 life, and have it not come in tapped, that's sweet, man. Great card. This card, along with all of these choice lands or whatever, are going to see a heck ton of play. Here we got Oran Reef Ooze, the old 3-drop, and that art just pops at you. It looks like a big old worm, a little slimy wormy there. When Oran Reef Ooze enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That's cool. Whenever Oran Reef Ooze attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each attacking creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. I think in this upcoming meta, the +1/+1 counter decks are going to be competitive. There has been some kind of competitive, +1/+1 counter decks, over the past year or so in Standard. But I think when you see all these cards we're going to drop today, you'll understand why, now more so than ever. And this card, it could be one of those that, finds its way into some of those builds. There are some better +1/+1 counter cards we're going to discuss soon. But this overall, 3-drop 2/2, and for what it does, splashing +1/+1s on everything that's already attacking with a +1/+1 on it, that's sweet. And we're going to be able to also see that 1-drop artifact probably get its day to shine. With all these counters and things being thrown about, anytime you have a creature leave the battlefield with counters on it, it goes onto the Ozolith. And then on your in combat phase, you're able to move those counters to a creature. That's ridiculous. I think we're going to see it finally do some big things. Skyclave Shade is a 2-drop here. This is an interesting card. I like this because back in the day, All right. I don't know if it was Tempest, or maybe Stronghold. It was earlier in Magic days. I remember playing with, was it Shadow decks? I don't know if they called them Shade. I know there were Shades, but there was also Shadow. And Shadow was unblockable unless being blocked by a Shade or another Shadow, whatever they called them. And those decks, they were competitive. They were good. I mean, just imagine, you paid 2. I think there was one card that was like a 3-2 or 3-1 or 2-1. And it just can't be blocked, unless another Shadow is blocking it. This card's not like that, however, but it does have a really interesting ability on it. It's got a kicker for 3. It costs 2 to bring out. It's on a 3-1 body. However, Skyclave Shade can't block. It itself cannot block. That's right. So if Skyclave Shade was kicked, though, it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. What makes this card real sweet is the landfall ability on it. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if Skyclave Shade is in your graveyard, you're able to, and it's your turn. It has to be your turn. I thought it was interesting to put that on there. And it's your turn. You may cast it from your graveyard this turn. Legit. Would have been really cool if it had like the flash, basically. Landfall with the flash, built into it or whatever. I think that'd be super. This thing would just be a friggin' bomb to play with. But being as it is right now, the fact that you can play this card from your graveyard is amazing. There's not too many cards that do that allow you to just play cards from your graveyard. There was a Planeswalker, Liliana, I believe, a couple years ago, and she allowed you to cast zombie spells from your graveyard for, I think it's -3 or something like that, which was pretty legit. So this thing don't need none of that built into it. You're able to just do it. And not only that, you drop this early in the game for 2, and then, you use it for whatever you have to use it for. You're going to be swinging in with this thing. You'd hope to give it flying or something, some kind of evasive, ability with it. And then mid-late game, when you got that extra spare mana, you can just play this. And then it comes in with extra boosts on it. It becomes a 5/3 then. I like that. That seems pretty legit to me. I do expect this card to see some competitive play. Call me crazy. I don't think so, though. That is a big deal that it could come back from the graveyard. It could be cast from the graveyard. Grakmaw, Skyclave Ravager, 3-drop. Hydra Horror. Get a load of that. What is that? Is that an insect in its mouth? You see that? You got your little insect in your mouthy there? I think that's some kind of insect or centipede or millipede or one of those peds, Yeah, because I don't see it in the other. That's cool, though. It's cool art. Legendary creature, Hydra Horror, 3-drop, Grakmaw, Skyclave Ravager. Enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. So it'll become a 3/3 when it hits the field. Whenever another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, put a +1/+1 counter on Grakmaw. I dig it. When Grakmaw dies, create an XX black and green Hydra creature token where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Grakmaw. So even if this thing dies, you're going to be able to get a creature out of it no matter what. But then you're also going to be able to make this thing grow larger if you lose other creatures around it. And on top of that, when it does finally go bye-bye, you're getting great value. You're getting another, basically, creature out of it. It is a legendary, which is probably a good thing. Otherwise, this is just nuts. Imagine having 3 or 4 of these things on the battlefield. Trigger, you're going to trigger into you. Triggers into you. That's just insanity, Make copies of it, have some fun and some janky build. I think I'm going to try that out. But this is a really good card. 3-drop and Gruul. Definitely cool, man. There's so many things going on with it. It's awesome. Like I said, these +1/+1 counter builds are just going to be sweet. Then we have Shadow's Verdict, which is a big old 5-drop. And this guy's pretty juicy, man. Exile all creatures and planeswalkers with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creature and planeswalker cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from all graveyards. I'll give you one moment to think where this is going to shine. Well, it could be a sideboard, but we have seen Ritual of Soot do its thing, But this is going to shine against sacrifice builds. Sacrifice builds are going to hate this. Loris, it's like it almost does double work. Let's say they have a Loris out on the battlefield. Guess what? We're going to take that out. And anything, it's going to try to bring back, creature-wise, of course. And it also hits the planeswalkers, too, It just, we'll see it. It sweeps not only the street, but it also sweeps the sewer. This thing's put in an extra work. I think it's a really, really neat card. The Shadows of Death fall over everyone in the end. Downside, it is 5 mana. I know, it's pretty crazy. But hey, if aggro is like a big deal in this set, which I don't know if I think we're going to see a lot more mid-rangey. I think this is going to be the mid-range, kind of builds nowadays. or in this next meta, this card will shine a lot if we see, you know, more aggro. Sideboard for sure, though, in black, but really cool card. Then we have Elidar, a retreat. Interesting art. Who I like your purple. Ooh. 4-drop, enchantment, Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Create a 2/2 white cat creature beast. Or, I'm sorry, cat beast creature token. So we do already have a lord for, I want to say white cat, or not for white cat, for cats and beasts already. Then we also, Landfall, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. That's legit. It is a 4-drop though. All right, I think that it's kind of steep at that cost. That's a lot of mana to invest, but the rewards are great, without a doubt. You're definitely going to have some nice removal if you're going to be playing this thing. Maybe, I don't know about a 4 of, maybe like a 2 of, you know, or something in some builds, 3 of, I don't know. But it has got a lot of potential. That Landfall, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures getting vigilance. That's big, man. White likes to have, white is it shines with vigilance. That's what white's, you know, one of its special little, you know, abilities is known for. But creating a token as well, or one, I'm sorry, one or the other, that's hot sauce, baby. That's hot sauce. You know, depending what you need. I dig it. Yeah. We'll see play. Competitive, I don't know. I'm not sure. It really depends. It really depends. Soaring Thought Thief and Scion of the Swarm. Man, these guys are flying, huh? It's almost like the same kind of art. They just like swapped them, and they got boulders on the one side, and on the other side they got these like mosquitoes, you know, from like Land Before Time. Cool stuff. What is that? Is that a claw? Maybe. All right. Anyway, 2-drop Dumir, flash flying human rogue, baby. That's legit. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1/+0. I like that. Whenever 1 or more rogues you control attack, each opponent mills 2 cards. Not bad. There's cards that just get your opponent to mill 8 cards like that. I don't know if is it a 2-drop or a 4-drop. I think it's a 4-drop. Yeah, just mill your opponent 8 cards, put in the graveyard. Thanks. Well, we just activated this, and it's not like it's saying it has to be. They have to have 8 creatures, you know, or specific kind of type. It just is any card, 8 of them. And it gets that little perk. Legit. It's Flash. Is Flash going to be another deck coming back around? I don't know. We're going to find out. Scion of the Swarm, 5-drop. Cool cards. Looking at Johnny's Pride Mate. Up in the air. Flying, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Scion of the Swarm. I would have loved this to have been a 4-drop Angel with the same stuff on it. I think that'd be awesome. They could have made it rare. Could have been a $5 card. $4? I don't know. Really cool card, though. However, it's 5. It's 5 mana. That's a lot. So for your limited play, this is best going to be utilized there. 3/3 body. It's not a bad card. It's all right. But that 5, man, that's a big investment. At 5 mana, there's just a lot better choices out there, for sure. Then we have ourselves Glasspool Shore and Glasspool Mimic. Shapeshifter Rogues, one sweet 3-drop. You may have Glasspool Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature you control, except it's a Shapeshifter Rogue in addition to its other types. I dig it. It's got the Shapeshifter text in there. I think it's really cool. I like the art on this one too. However, there's not really a big downside. There's only 3 to do this. It doesn't say, you know, it loses legendary or anything like that. If it did, that'd be really cool. But just for 3, for this to copy any creature, and you also can turn it into a rogue, get perks from the rogue side of it, you know, I think is pretty neat. And yeah, this is a card that we'll see competitive play without a doubt. And you got the land side, you know, whichever you need to use. Situational stuff, man. Really, really cool card. Master of Winds. I think that's amazing. One more time. For just 3, if you get something huge on the battlefield, like 6/7 mana cost, you know, let's just say 8/8 big old creature with trample or whatever the case may be, you can just copy it for 3 mana. Skidink. I think that's sweet, you know. Master of Winds, 4-drop, Sphinx Wizard. Flying when Master of Winds enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, you may have Master of Winds base power and toughness become 4/1 or 1/4 until end of turn. So that's like a situational thing. Do you need to get some damage flying? So making this thing swing in. 4 damage in the sky. It is a 4-drop, though, I know. But you could also have it protect as a 1/4. The big thing is you're drawing 2 cards, discarding only 1. That's a big upside to this. I like that. It reminds me a little bit of the Karn back from Urza's Saga. You know, I think he becomes like a 0/8 if something were to happen, or regular. He's like a 4/4, something like that, if I can recall correctly. I should have pulled him up on the screen here, but really, really neat card. The Karn, that is. This thing, I don't know. I think if it didn't have the flying, it'd be absolute garbage. But the fact that you're getting some card advantage here over your opponent, you know, and filtering through, you know, your stuff and discarding, I think it's pretty cool. Not bad. It's an okay card. I don't know about seeing competitive play, though. It's 4-drop. I could be waiting. No, you know what? That draw 2, discard 1. Yeah, that alone, that it's probably going to see competitive play. Plus, it's a wizard. Yeah, probably going to see competitive play. Kargan War Leader and Fireblade Charger. What is going on? What are you doing there? Look a little. I don't even know how to describe that art on that warrior, but it's pretty cool. It's a lord. Other warriors you control get +1/+1, 3/3. You see this kind of stuff all the time. One day it's knights, next day it's humans. It just all depends. It's cool. Fireblade Charger is a 1-drop. This card will see competitive play 100%. Goblin Warrior, as long as Fireblade Charger is equipped, it's got haste. When Fireblade Charger dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So you want to pump this thing up and dump a bunch of equipment on it, whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's sweet. It's only a 1/1 at first. It's only 1 to drop. But, man, when it dies, any damage to any target, not just a planeswalker. It doesn't matter. It's not a planeswalker. It's not a creature. It's any target, which is really cool. You could even target your mailbox. Hey, you know, you don't want to make sure you get the mail. That's probably a good idea. But, yeah, really good card. We'll see competitive play. Ancient Green Warden. You beastly man, you. This is a 6-drop reach elemental. You may play lands from your graveyard. Nasty. The big perk. If a land entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers again. It triggers an additional time. That's major sauce with all this landfall going on. You're going to see this card seeing a lot of play. A lot of people wanted an elemental, a good one. They felt they weren't getting it. But, man, here it is. I got to say, when I was starting to get worried, I'd say the 3rd or 4th day of spoilers, they were just kind of weak sauce. I'm like, oh, man, this set's looking kind of crappy, you know. I tried getting excited over it, and I was just like, ugh, it's not too much to get excited over. But seeing craziness like this is a cool elemental. I think a lot of people will be happy with this elemental. I know some people want to see an elemental horror. I don't know, guys. I don't know. 5/7 though. I mean, that's slick. Doesn't have trample or nothing, but it's got the reach and it has that trigger ability. Those triggers are what is gonna make this card just shine. And the graveyard play. The combination of the two of those is just ridiculous, man. I expect this card to be like a $15, $20 card, you know? Really, really cool. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a good card. You want a bunch of triggers, you go with this dude. Then we have Null, Priest of Oblivion. That's an ugly looking demon. There's something behind you. Watch out, girl. 2-drop, Vampire Cleric, kicker for 4. Menace and Lifelink. It's a 2/1. When Null, Priest of Oblivion enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you want to just start milling yourself, that's cool. You know, mill out like 10 cards, get some big, stupid, crazy creature in there, some 10/10, some Eldrazi, maybe not in standard, but you get what I'm going at, you know. Just get some sweet card, maybe enter the battlefield triggers, whatever the case may be. And this thing's going to do it for you. The Menace Lifelink on it, that's just like an added in perk, I think. They just threw it on there. It is Vampire Cleric. Cleric is important right now. It's only a 2/1. I don't think the Menace Lifelink is the hugest deal in the world, but I mean, if you equip this thing with some flying, or whatever, whoosh, boom, that's going to be a big deal then, a little +2 action, +3, +1 equipment. Then you got something on your hands. But the main thing is that graveyard, man, bringing something back and just getting on the field. Pretty dirty. We got Roost of Drake, some base camp. Roost of Drake is a 1-drop kicker for 3. When Roost of Drake enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. This is going to be annoying. I can tell you're already going to see decks built around this. I don't know. that kicker-based decks are going to be competitive, but if they are, this is going to be a card you will see if they are competitive. I guarantee it. Then we have Base Camp over here, which is sweet, and there is some, this is cool. We don't have a lot of this right now in Standard. Colorless, tapping a land for colorless mana, so that helps. It does come in tap, though, which is the downside. However, you can add 1 mana of any color, and you spend it for the Rogue, Cleric, Warrior, or Wizard spell, or to activate one of those as well, which is pretty legit. So, yeah, that was needed. Uncommon. That's not bad. We'll take it. Scute Swarm, 3-drop, Insect. It's got Landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 Greed Insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scute Swarm instead. That is just crazy with our friend back here who does all the triggers. You're going to have an insane swarm on your hands really, really fast. And yeah, these two go together like bread and butter. You know, even give him a little perk, you know, something, throw some Anthem down in the field or whatever. And it just gets more fun. The only downside, it's a 1/1. But other than that, it's a great card. And it's a great way to stay in shape. So I like it. Wow, that's it. I'm sorry. I thought we had more. No, that's it. I'm sorry, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I want to do a lot more with this video. This is one of my least... I don't feel I did enough of this one. And I know I was on a... it's been a crazy day. Without saying too much. It's been a crazy day. But everything's okay. I just want you guys to know that. All is well. And I hope all is well in your lives as well. But yeah, this one, it was just, I can only do so much today. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Joey Moss with Bad Boy Gaming. Take a moment, check out his other videos. If you haven't seen the ghost hunting stuff, Ghostatic, give that a look as well. I appreciate you. Be kind. Be kind to each other. I think that's the important thing right now. Be kind to each other. And skadoosh yourself.